Welcome to the Royal Road School of Carmelite Prayer. At the present, we are listening to a talk given by a Carmelite friar in France, Father Jean-Emmanuel, and he's talking to us about the prayer of recollection, Teresian prayer. So we first looked at turning towards the presence. Then we asked ourselves, well, what presence are we talking about? And right now we are going to answer the question, how best to succeed in interior prayer or the prayer of recollection. So it's important to find a comfortable place that suits you, either in nature or in adoration, whatever, wherever that promotes recollection. Strive to develop the habit of being in God's presence within. I have to allow God to establish the habit in me until it becomes natural, not supernatural. In other words, until I have overcome, with God's help, all objections to the practice. In other words, all attachments. And here's what Teresa of Avila has to tell us about this. Beginners. Beginners are those who draw water or grace from the well. It's a lot of work. They tire themselves trying to recollect their senses and get accustomed to being distracted. It requires much effort. Actually, it requires hours of practice. Thinking on their past life, considering the life of Christ, the intellect grows weary. These are the things that we can do of ourselves. With God's help, of course, because without God's help, we can't even have a good thought. So then I make acts of faith repeatedly, and in time, things fall into place. We are so used to being scattered, living at the surface of ourselves. The prayer of recollection helps us to live at another level, at a more interior level. Saint Teresa tells us that if we are diligent in our daily practice, we will see effects within 2 or 3 months and results within a year maximum. Over time, we regain mastery of ourselves, which gives us a new liberty. Once we have tasted this recollection, this peace, we come back to it. But it comes with a cost. Again, we turn to Teresa. At the beginning, since the recollection is not very deep, there are greater and lesser degrees of recollection. If we make the effort, practice this recollection for some days, and get used to it, the gain will be clearly seen. We will understand when beginning to pray that the bees are approaching and entering the beehive to make honey. And this recollection will be effected without our effort. The Lord has desired that. The faculties are drawn inward. It's taken from the way of perfection. Amen. So we've just listened to Father Jean-Emmanuel and Teresa of Avila talk to us about how best to succeed in interior prayer. One of the things that Teresa repeatedly tells us is to not give up, but to persevere with a determined determination no matter what. So I hope that you're following along here and finding this a blessing. And until we meet again, so God bless you and yours. Amen.